So, welcome to another episode of Thrive Talks. I believe this is number 14. So we're getting up there, close to the 15, and then eventually the 20. I just want to ask you guys how you guys doing today, man.
Good, brother.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. No complaints.
That's good.
Man. No complaints.
How's the interior decorating going?
It's going, man. It's going. It's
Been
taking.
going on for a while.
No,
man.
Yeah.
no, it has,
I
man.
remember you had that going on before I even left on that vacation.
No, I know. It was going on since August, man. August something.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's been a while, man. It's been a while. Maybe beginning of August.
Yeah. It
Takes
seems
time.
about right.
It takes time, man. It takes time. You know, sometimes people delay. Sometimes things come up. So
Definitely requires patience.
it's always what you think is going to be a certain amount of times by 10. Always.
Right. No, always. That is so
Always,
true.
Always, man. If you think it's gonna be a month, it might be 10 months, man.
Was there any particular reason you chose gold and black?
I just like it. I just like gold.
Yeah.
I like black. So gold and black is something I like.
Yeah.
You know, gold is classy to me, so figure I just go with the gold. I go with the gold and black, man. You know, and then spice up the other areas up. Put some color to it.
Yeah.
Got a bougie side.
Yeah.
The craft, man. You gotta learn the craft,
Yeah.
man. You gotta learn everything. I'm an interior decorator now this week, man. Last week I was something else. But this week I'm
I am
interior
everything.
Oh, yeah.
So today, me and Jay were at a Walmart earlier. I'm picking up some tables for him and some new decor for his place. He's trying to revamp it, have it be a fantasy factory. Some things he can create. And on our way to the car, Jermaine goes, "Women are way more reliable than men." and I wanted to ask you boys, if this is true, first, Drew, is this true? And if it is true, why is this the case?
I'm going to start off by I'm not an expert. So I can't be held accountable for that. So I'm just going to go say this. I don't really think it comes down to the sex. I think it comes down to the life path, like how they paid attention to things, how they adjusted on the fly, how they were brought up, who their friends were, their surroundings, their upbringing, of course. Did they grow up poor? Did they grow up, having everything? Were they entitled? Did they feel like, we're the silver spoon type life? They have everything handed to them and they didn't have to work for it. I mean, it depends completely on that. Were people reliable in their lives? If they got burnt a lot and then they started to get closed in and not trust people, they might not be so reliable because they won't position themselves to do things for other people or to be asked. So I think someone that is asked for, favors, they're asking that person specifically because they realize this person has quality.
Yeah.
This person has some sort of value. We've talked about it before. I'm sure, like between the three of us, if we were to ask the other one for any kind of favor, we can pretty much say that the other person would do it
For sure.
because we are a certain type of person. Plus, we have some sort of a connection going on with this podcast. So I like to think I can rely on both of you, and you guys can rely on me for sure.
Right.
So I mean, it's when someone is asked something, like I said, it was done for a specific reason, and I think that's what it comes down to. This person shows qualities in many avenues, and they have consistently shown these qualities for a period of time that it gives you the comfortability to even want to ask this person.
Right.
So that's what I would say to that. I don't really think it comes down to male, female.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of still agree with Jay. I feel like if you were to just blank canvas, forget what I just said. Male or female, which one can you rely on? I gotta think that
Maybe the female.
Aunt Carol might come through more than Uncle Greg. You know what I'm saying? So. Just saying, they're more thorough. Like I would trust a female surgeon over a male surgeon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was going to have a female surgeon do my hernias, but then all the COVID restrictions came in and certain things I wouldn't agree with. But yeah, I'm looking for a female out there that wants to cut me open. Hey, cut me open. Let me know.
Well, that makes sense when you do say it because we do come from a female.
Yes.
right? Like we come from a female. A female is motherly. It feels nurturing. They know how to hug you, right? They know how to talk to you. But I do feel like because we're males, it's easier for us to go to a female and a female to want to help us because it's a natural inclination to do so, especially considering they are our polar opposite. And they're everything we're not, and we're everything they're not, you know? And I'm sure some things females feel like, yo, a man could do this, but a woman couldn't for me, you know? And they're more reliable. A man might be more reliable in some cases for them. Yeah. Why did you say that though, Jay?
It's not necessarily. I'm not saying that males are not reliable at all. Well, but what I found is when a woman sets her mind to something, she's gonna get it done.
Yeah.
She will get it done. And sometimes a male, he'll delay, he'll procrastinate. But I find the females, I'm not saying that they can do what males can do, and males can't do what females can do. But I do see where females are more, when they say it's going to get done, I would bet on them. Like I just would bet on them. I'm not saying males are not reliable. You know what I mean? But if I had a reliable female and a reliable male, I would kind of steer towards a reliable female. You know, and it's just great, you know, just getting a female's opinion, because it's something that you might not think of, you know. So it may be as far as fashion or decorating or whatever it may be, right? So their opinion will give you a different perspective on your opinion. You know, like if we go to another man, it's probably going to be somewhat similar, but a female could add a twist, you know, or even talk about a female will make a house a home. There's a reason behind that, right? She's going to look at the intricate details and say, you know what, this will spice it up like this, or we can put a plant here, or we can do this. And a male, he might just do the basics.
He doesn't care if that plant's
No,
there.
he doesn't care. But that plant made that difference in that place. You know, that background. You know, so sometimes it's like it's good to, you know, just to ask questions on both sides and say, okay, what do you think back there? You know, what do you think would be there? What would think that would look good? Because they kind of have that feel for it. You know what I mean? They kind of have that feel for it. Now, maybe a male would go to a different thing and say, okay, you know what? It may be something different, but it's like, okay, yeah, man, I understand your opinion. But a female is, I value females, and it's because I value my mother, right? And I knew if I was to bet on my mother or father who was going to be there, I knew my mom was going to beat them out every time.
Right.
So that wasn't even a question. And it's not saying that he might not have been reliable, but I know for a fact when my mom says it's going to get done, it's going to get done.
Women have like a warmth to them, you know what I mean, and like a connection to everything. Like a woman that's protecting her baby, I don't know who I bet against. Like I'm not gonna bet against her. You know what I mean? Like she's gonna do everything for that kid, everything she possibly could. Now, you know, because we're starting to talk about males and females, but I do notice a female and female competitiveness that shows up.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And that sometimes hinders the ability for a friendship to take place, or it might break things down, or, you know, or ignite some things in flames. Why do you think that is? And what's something that, you know, maybe could help that scenario?
I see personally, you know, even the work that I do when I was, you know, teaching and doing things like that, there's a lot of females in there. So there might be the male to female might be 70% female, 30% male. I usually get along with males too. Like I get along with males and females usually, but I do see that competition wise, that competitiveness with females and females. Sometimes they're both dominating, trying to dominate.
Yeah.
And they don't find a male dominating because he's in a different lane, but a female, they may be in that same lane. And then what I find was, if I'm thinking about a female, sometimes females, they're territorial. You know, they want to claim their land or claim their area, their space. They want to claim that. And a male's like, well,
Whatever.
It's not whatever. It's not a big
There's
deal.
more out there.
Right? So, you know, when you're talking about a male speaking to a male, I don't really see, there could be some competitiveness in that. in a way, but I don't see it as much as female and female. A female, when you do get on her bad side, you better look out because it's probably going to be some problems. You know what I'm saying? It's probably going to be some problems. A male, for example, if we're talking about male and female, male, I seen you can argue, fight, get into a tussle. You might even get into a fist fight or whatever. But then the next day, it's cool again.
Yeah.
You know, and a female sometimes she'll hold
Oh,
on.
man.
She'll hold on to those things, hold on to those grudges. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not speaking to all of them, but I'm saying sometimes they will do that and remind you continuously how you messed up. But a male's like, you know what? I have a problem with you. I'm gonna get off my chest. If it gets to violence, it gets to violence. If it gets to arguing, it gets to arguing. But then the next day, well, we're back cool again.
Right.
Yeah.
And it should be like that because that's the ultimate escalation, right? Other than that, it's death, and you're not going to do that, right? So we get it out of our system, and then we either, people used to do that and have a beer after, but stuff like that. And then you're not best friends, but you respect each other. You went through with it. We know where each other's at now. It's done. But females, you're right, man. They'll be in Walmart like, there that bitch go like 9 years ago. there she is, and she's stalking her like, man, I gotta get this bitch. Anyways, your question was, okay, yeah. So the thing about females is, let's say, just take a like a pretty girl. She's all decked out. She's out with her girls. As soon as she walks in with her two girls, they don't know it. And they're just in a good mood and everything, and they have nothing but good vibes planned for the night. But they don't know it. They're competing with every woman that is looking at them when they walk in the door, because that's how women think. Oh, her hair's better. Like she feels threatened, so now she's going to compete. She's going to come harder next time. Women are always getting dressed up like they're competing against each other, and even against their friends.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, he'll wear his blue, and I'll wear my colors and stuff, but I'm not competing with the dudes. I'm just doing me.
Okay, so out of like best friends, right?
Yeah.
Let's say a girl and a girl best friend, or a guy and a guy best friend. Who are you betting on? Like, who is a stronger, has a case for a friendship? Because I've seen some female and female friends be really ride or die. Actually, when you go to the gym, there's a female only section. There's not a male only section. There's a female only section. When girls go out, they go in packs. You know what I mean? It's like, they got each other's backs, and they're actually, I guess they can go both ways. They can go super competitive, or they can go super caring. But what friendship is a stronger friendship? Is it the female and female, or is it the male and male?
I'm sure you'd agree with this, Jay. I think it's incomparable because I think it really comes down to what you've built with this person. It doesn't, male or female. If that's your road dog, that's your road dog, and that's just it. If that's your bestie, that's your bestie. That's just it. Because you guys put in the time, and that's what it is, the time. And what did you do at that time? Did you build loyalty, or did you build fake bullshit? I see this all too much, and I will say this. Women do this way more than men, is talk trash behind each other's backs and then go back in each other's faces and live life like it's nothing. We don't do that. If we do that, if you catch me talking trash behind someone's back, it's because I told that same shit to their face already. So I feel like, okay, I'm good now. I already said that. But the thing is, the females have no problem doing that loosely and then walking into the house like, hey, girl, what's up? I see it all too much, and it's just, it turns me off.
And I think that females are more willing to voice their displeasure with somebody.
Yeah.
Right? If they're arguing with their man, they're more likely to say something. A man won't probably say anything because he's maybe embarrassed to even say that this even went down.
He feels the way he feels,
right? It's like it doesn't feel great, right? And it's like, okay. And then it's like, does he really want to share with his friends who might be saying, like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? So sometimes I would find if a female is not happy with her man, her whatever it may be, that she's going to confide to her best friend. And sometimes it doesn't work out well because that friend will now not be neutral, but will just go with her friend's opinion. And sometimes I think a male would be more of a mediator, like in the middle ground, and say, okay, what did you do too, man? You know what I'm saying? Now you got your occasional friends where they'll jump on the other person as well. But I know me as a man, if somebody comes up to me and says, well, you know, my girlfriend's doing this, blah, blah, I'm saying, okay, what's the whole story though?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Right.
bro,
Right.
I get it. You know what I mean? Like, it just can't be just her doing this. I mean, what are you doing? You're doing something probably too. And I don't see too many females checking other female friends and saying, you know what? Maybe we got to consider his side as well.
No.
They're like ganging up with.
They'll gang up
Yeah.
on the man. And I'm not saying all, right? Because I don't want to say all.
But you know, there's a reason too. Sorry to cut you off, but like when you look at the gender roles of society, males get the way they perceive it. Males get higher wages. Males are treated better. Females are treated worse. Then I'm sure, you know, rape and physical strength, all that stuff comes into play. Now look what's happening. Now you got trans women in women's sports. So like, you know, they might feel like everything's being taken away from them, and now they feel like they need to, you know, just get on the male. When they get that one chance to get on the male, they're getting on you.
Right.
This is for the ancestors.
Right? Yeah, because it's for all of us, right? But it's, to me, it's like you have to play that neutral role. You got to be, you know what? You say, okay, if my friend's complaining about his girl, I'm investigating. You know, you're not gonna I'm not gonna just jump on her and say, you know what, you're messing, you know, she's messing up, because you may be messing up too. And a lot of times too, even when I went to my friends, which I rarely did about relationships, I just keep it to myself. But if I did go to them, and if they say, you know what, you're messing up, I don't get mad. It's just like, yeah, I probably am messing up.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you did check me on that,
Yeah,
right? And I find males
can do that more.
can check each other more,
More.
and they don't get their feelings hurt as much than compared to a female checking a female.
Yeah. I was going to say there's a lot of ignorance happening with females. I would say more so than men, because men, I'll check my boy because I want to make sure he knows that I'm not going to be here to support his BS.
Yes.
I want him to know that I'm going to let him know when he's slipping so that he can be correct himself, and we could all be a unit and all be doing good. And I would hope that he does the same. I had a couple friends at one point. They would I would get engaged in myself into a fight, and they would support even after the fight. Oh, you them up. Oh, you know, do that shit again, bro. That shit was, I didn't need those people in my life. Period. That's not a good friend. A good friend would be like, you know, that was messed up. You should not have done that shit. Because they care about you. They care about your character. They care about what people are going to, you know, perceive you as, especially your kids.
For sure.
And that's the thing. Like,
And don't get me wrong, if my friend does get into something at that moment, I'm there with them and I might support
Right.
you at that time.
Yep.
But when we leave, I'm gonna say, yo, you know what, bro? You can't be doing this, man. Because now you brought me into the situation.
Yep.
And if you keep doing this, I don't want to be around you. Because every time I go out somewhere, I know where this is possibly going to go to.
Right.
And I don't want to be involved in that, because I believe in when you go with your friends, you come home with your friends.
absolutely.
I believe
In one
that.
piece.
In one piece.
And you don't expose your insides to the outside world. Like keep
sure.
family stuff family.
Keep family stuff. and that's the thing a lot of times that we got to learn too. Let's keep family stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, families always get in arguments.
Yeah.
Keep it in-house.
That's normal. That's normal stuff. People are going to get in arguments. People are going to get frustrated. People are going to raise their voice. There's a lot of things that's going to happen. But let's keep this within the group.
Yeah.
You know, just like I would tell my team if I was coaching the team, let's keep this in-house. Yeah, we did argue during the season sometimes, and sometimes in the locker room we did lose our cool. But they don't need to know that. You know, we want to go out as a united front. We don't want them to think, oh man, they're having division, they're divided, and then now they're gossiping, right?
Yeah.
That's what we gotta.
That's a Trojan horse.
Like, you don't want to do that. You want to keep it in, because half the time, when you are mad at that time, you were just mad at that time. Then week later, when it calms down, you're like, you know what? It ain't even that big deal. But those people that you told still remember those same conversations that you had to them while you were angry and upset and emotional.
It's tough because let's say three of us, a problem happens, but we spent how many hours together, right? 30 plus hours on Facebook Live, plus or
More.
14. Now, we spent a lot of time together. We spent the time together. So the moment we have an issue and we leak it to the outside world, they haven't spent zero time with us. They don't have no time invested.
Right.
They have nothing invested into our business. So they'll latch onto a problem and create a problem.
Yeah.
They'll get in between the cracks and crevices, and now they're separating you guys, and you don't even know why. But meanwhile, you let it out. There's a leak, right? So we have to, and I agree with this, because sometimes you end up announcing a family problem to the outside. Another problem comes up because people out there are looking for problems, and they're looking to enlarge problems, and now you can't even fix it. Now something else happens. Now you lose a job, or you lose something, you lose a kid, or you lose some,
Right.
you know what I mean? All because we couldn't handle it together. And I feel like there should be healthy ways to do so. I feel like therapy is a big one, but I don't know why we don't go down that route.
Even having conversations with people that will speak some sense into you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like, man, like, instead of speaking to people that are going to ignite it, some people will ignite it. You tell them
Yes.
something, and they'll make it even bigger. They won't say,
Gassing
what,
you up.
Yeah, they won't say, what, maybe you need to go back and resolve this issue, right? Maybe just go back and resolve the issue. It's fine. It's okay. Or they say the opposite and saying, screw that, screw them, but you don't know the situation.
They try to watch UFC live.
No, but if you look at it too, how much more views do you get on Facebook when there's drama?
Why? What the hell is going on?
Right? Everybody's liking when someone says something drama because they want to get the supposed tea. Give me the tea. Tell me the tea. Right? And it's like, why do you want people to argue? Why do you want people to have the division?
Because you're having problems inside.
frustrated?
No, it's so true though. It's true.
It's definitely true.
It's so true. Yeah,
Negativity
wins.
wins.
Yeah.
It gets most of the attention than if you have a positive individual doing good things.
Yes. A positive individual is boring. You got a wife, you got a job, you got a house, you take care of your people. That's boring to people. What's exciting is, no, man, all the partying, maybe the drugs, maybe the women, all that stuff's way more exciting.
Yes.
And it'll get more views.
See, that's why it's more important for us to keep grinding on the positive side of things.
sure. Yeah.
Because if you stand tall on this side, the people that slip through, that get damaged so badly from the other side, they're going to come over here and they're going to want that healing. And we need to be there and ready for them when they come. And that's kind of how I think about that, because we all go through the grinder. We're always on the wrong side at certain points
Yeah.
of our lives. But once you make your way back to the other side, you need support. You need someone there that's going to give you the right support. So
yeah.
just understand, like I'm kind of making us step outside of it for a sec. This is how important we are.
Yeah.
We got to stay on this side.
Right. So it's positivity, man. I don't
Yep.
care what you go through. You got to still stay positive. And I was thinking about something today, or it was yesterday. And I thought about, if you go through things, and sometimes people will pray for things, to pray, and they're almost praying that the problem go away. And it's like, you shouldn't be praying that it goes away. You should be praying for strength to handle the problem, because that problem is going to allow you to figure something else out. If it just disappears, you didn't learn a lesson. So it's like, you want the strength to go through it. I don't want none of the problems that I have to go away. I want the wisdom to be to handle it better. I want the strength to be to get through it. So those are the things that I think about when we're doing anything. You got to think about and saying, women, males, whatever. That's just whatever. That's just what it is, right? Like, that's just something interesting. But how do you solve your issues? How do you deal with the opposite sex? Do you let them be a compliment, or do you think that they're stepping in your way? Like, we got, sometimes it's going to the almost opposite. And I don't like to see it, because now it's almost like there is a division between male and females. Right? Women's rights. We're not saying you don't have any. Right? So, but why does it have to be like this? Right? This feminism. Yeah, that's cool. And we're not saying that you shouldn't have no rights and you should get equal pay. And if you're qualified, I definitely believe in you should get what you deserve. 100%. But I'm like, now we're going towards the opposite end, where it's almost bashing the other sex. I'm not going to bash females when I'm with males. And I don't think females should group up and gang against men and say, oh, all men are terrible. Men are bad. Yeah, some are.
Till they get a flat tire.
No, yeah, right. So, and don't get me wrong, shoot, there's probably some females that's better than me, right? And when it comes to that, so I'm not even gonna say that to that extent, right? They probably could change tire better than me, and I'm like, you know what? I'll sit there and let them do it.
Oh, really? That's how it goes. Oh,
Right?
okay.
Because we could all be taught, because there is some females that grew up in the shop, in the automobiles. You know what I mean? There's some females that grew up in doing these things. So I didn't grow up doing those things. So if you can do that, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, my main point is this bashing of each other, you know, saying announcing you're this. So when you announce you're a feminist, that means you don't want to listen to a male. Male and female both have their place. That's why they were created both.
Absolutely.
They were created both. They're supposed to be a complement to each other. They're not supposed to be competing with each other.
No.
Like, we're getting to the point where we're actually competing against the other sex. For what? You know, like, we can all be great. We can all still excel. It doesn't mean because that male, he's making more money, and now I'm pissed off at him. But he didn't set the rules.
It's you said it earlier, Jay, and the negativity does sell. And so you have these media companies making these headlines that are going to sell but divide the people. Like even what happened with, you know, I'm not an expert on the case, but let's say Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion, there's a shooting. And now what happened? It was boys against girls. It was like the guys who supported her or the girls that supported him. And it was, you know, just a war between people. And it's like, we're not getting ahead, but this is so true. The negativity sells. So the moment you have, you know, females and feminists ganging up on the males, that's what's gonna get the clicks. Like, you know, if you say some foul shit about a man, that's what's gonna get the clicks.
No, for sure. And the thing is with me is, I don't support male or female. I support what's right.
Yep.
Whatever is right, that's what I support. You know what I mean? Like, I don't support just because you're a male, I don't agree with you. Just because you're a female, I don't agree with you either. I'm supporting whatever the truth. Whatever the truth is, that's what I support.
Yeah.
I don't support what we're supposed to be together, or my friend, he's doing something foul, and I'm going to be like, no, that's my friend, so whatever he does, I'm going to support it. No, that's not a friend anyway.
That's fantasy to me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you want everybody in your life that you care about to win and do well, you can't support those things. You got to call them when they're out of pocket every single time. And I think you dropped the ball yourself as a friend as soon as you didn't call that shit out.
For sure.
And that's the only type of friends I want around. If you can't work up the courage to let me know when I'm out of pocket, you don't need to be around me.
The biggest dynasties fall because of that.
Absolutely.
You know, like let's say
Ego.
Let's say Drew, you make it, right? Drew's rapping, he's doing it on the biggest stages. But however, now you start slipping a little bit. You know what I mean? And all you have around you is yes men. You know, they're all just gonna tell you, yeah, man, Drew, keep going, man, because they're getting fed and they're whatever, you know what I mean? But meanwhile, your shit is not hitting, right? But they're telling you like it is. And now you're in this fake bubble. And because they couldn't man up and tell you to your face and actually risk not being on payroll or something like that, you know what I mean? You end up falling too.
I think that's kind of why we lost some of our biggest stars out there, because they had all yes men in their corner, you know?
For sure.
Like, look at Prince, look at Michael Jackson, look at, you know, any of these big time, Tupac. I'm sure they had people that were just cheering them on and they weren't saying, you know what, I think you should pull back right now. I think you should get away from Suge right now. No one did that. They just kept supporting. So that's why we lost them. If you think about it.
No, I can't speak for like certain artists, but I do know that is the case, because if you don't speak your mind fully,
right?
I love that quote. I'm gonna go back to it. You know, like don't capitulate. No, don't capitulate. Cooperate. You know, because if let's say I have a different idea than you guys, but I'm just going along with whatever you're doing, I'm literally signing off the death certificate of this podcast.
And your idea could have been the one.
It could have been the one.
Right.
You know what I mean? But instead of, you know, actually, we have to actually foster the environment where everyone has a voice. The one guy in the corner that you think is weird might be the genius. You know what I mean? It's just the truth. But you won't know until you hear him out, you know? So
Sure.
And I just want to say something before I forget, because we were talking about division between men and women and stuff. And I want everybody, the viewers out there, to kind of take something in on this, valuable when they walk away. But every single one of us has some sort of value, male or female. And there's things that males need from females, and there's things that females need from males. And whether we want to admit that to ourselves or not, or to anybody else or not, that's just the truth. And so at the end of all this, with all this division, we do need each other. And I would hope that one day people try to find their way back, maybe start getting a group of people together and start having conversations, male and female, because we could really learn from each other, and we could thrive like that.
For real. And it's just about respect. Respecting everybody. Mm-hmm. I respect females, males. It doesn't matter. How can I go around and say I don't respect a female when my mother raised me? How can I say I don't respect a female? I might not respect certain things that she does, but I respect a female because I know the struggle that they have, and I respect that. But they gotta also know we have a struggle too. Like males and females both have a struggle, because sometimes, even being a black male, you go out, I'm going to be the one harassed.
Right.
Not probably the female, because they're not known as a threat, even though that they might be of color. I'm going to be the one that's going to be watching, because they're like, you know what, we got to tame that black guy. We got to tame him. She's cool, right? Because she poses no threat to the male, the white male.
Yeah.
But I do. So sometimes people got to understand, everybody got to struggle, man. You think that males is so easy, but males have their downfalls too. Males try to keep stuff inside. Males try to be strong when they might be weak. So you don't really know what anybody's going through at all. You just assume, well, they have it easy because they're a male. Step in my shoes. You might not be saying that either. I might be thinking you got it easy because you're a female. Because there's benefits that I couldn't get as being a male. But I respect that everybody has their own difference and everybody has their advantage. And I'm not going to dwell on the disadvantage that I have. Mm-hmm. I find that a lot of times now, people are going the total opposite end. You know what I mean? Like it's like
time.
It's like, yo, let's jump on every male now, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's like there's not all males like that, man.
I'm gonna switch this topic. I wrote it down like maybe 10 minutes ago, but I was like, man, should I talk about this? Should I not talk about it? Should I talk about this? And it was like, okay, it was
Make it a smooth transition, bro.
It's cool because like it was actually just trans women. That was the conversation, right? Mm-hmm. But I was then what came to my mind after was like,
I'll see you guys later.
But no, I was like, what came to my mind after was to way that we can rig the system in a way is you have a title that is very controversial, but then when you communicate about it, when you get into it, when you open the book, it's showing all sides of the wheel, right? But no, what came to my mind was a story someone was telling me about, like how trans women can, compete with women, and they're winning records, and they're doing all that. And I was like, man, how is this allowed? Like, who signs up on this? Like, yo, the guy has the genetics of a male. He's competing with females. What do you think's gonna happen? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's like, it's not fair. It's not fair at all. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why they're doing this. I feel like maybe a third category. I'm not saying you want to be trans male, like a trans female. Oh, that's fine, but maybe a third category.
I agree. If you're a trans male, you should not be competing against females. Mm-hmm. Point blank, period. I don't care what anybody says. Mm-hmm. You should not. That's not allowed. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's not to say anything about that, but that's an advantage.
Huge.
That's a huge advantage. If I now start saying that I am now a female,
and you go to WNBA,
yeah, no one's stopping me. No one's stopping.
Yo, Jay-Z at 45 just getting all the records, just like give me.
So to me, it's not right. It's definitely not right. That's one thing that I will not sway on.
You can't
That's not right.
that.
That's not right at all. I don't care what anybody says. That's not right. I'm not saying there's something wrong with that person.
No.
I'm not saying we should do something toward that person. but they should be in their own category.
It's not fair for the females.
No, that's when it's not fair.
It's not fair for
def-
your little girl looking up to want to be a star,
that's
and
what I
now
was
you got to
about-
compete against males. Like,
That's-
what do you mean?
That's what I was about to say. Like, imagine my daughter wants to get into, combat sports.
Yeah.
And she starts training real hard, and she gets her first match, and it's against one of these people.
Yeah.
She gets her face crushed, and she doesn't want to do it ever again.
Oh, that's some
You know what I mean?
bullshit.
That's the horrific truth of what we're doing here. And I think the reason you said they didn't know why they're doing it because they want to make it, they want to normalize it. And
normal. Like
they
what do you
want to
mean?
they want to push it on society and slip it in under our noses, and hopefully the reaction isn't so bad that they can keep it in permanent. Because if you haven't noticed, society just tends to accept things after so long. You know what I mean?
And I just want to
It's a
add,
dangerous game.
We're no experts. We're just having a
No,
conversation.
yeah.
You know, we're just having a conversation, just our opinions. But what do they gain from that though? Like, what? I'm sure they're gaining a lot,
It's
but
just a narrative.
no, but. I'm not even saying that you can't have trans females or trans males.
No,
Like,
I'm
go
not,
ahead, but just compete.
Yeah, just don't hurt my little girl.
No, but no, and that's what I'm saying. So it's like, you know what? You guys are going to be who you are, and we accept that. But how you were born, that's who you are.
Yep.
I don't care. Now, you can go and say you're a female, and that's fine too, but you're not going to compete against a female. If you're a male, you got no business competing against females. I don't care what you say, period. I don't care.
I heard the male, the trans female. I don't even know if it's trans female or trans male, but the women's they're using the women's locker room. So the women feel uncomfortable now, considering there's you know what I mean?
That's the equivalent of me leaving here, going to a Tim Hortons, and going to the women's bathroom and saying that I'm Janice. I identify as Janice. That's just as crazy.
or Jermaine going, I'm Joanna Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, right. Like those things, like that's what I'm saying. We're walking a fine line when we start allowing people to associate with anything that they feel like on any given day.
Yeah.
Because we don't even know. We don't honestly like. I'm like, if I say, okay, I'm a female, so that means it gives me the rights of the females, and now I can go anywhere I want, do anything I want, and as a female. But meanwhile, I may not really identify as a female. I'm just saying I'm doing it, right? I don't know the intentions of people with this. You know what I mean? This is a very uncomfortable situation or even topic, because it's like, okay, now you got a male going into a female's dressing room. That's not right. I don't care. That's not right.
Like, as a man, I feel bad. I feel for these women out here because it's something different than us. We're not at war against anything.
Yeah, we're
they're
not.
at war.
Yeah.
For themselves, for being what a woman is.
Brother, that's so massive because a female already is not the strongest creature on the planet. It's the male. So we know this. Like, imagine there's an alpha male. You know what I mean? Like, even there's another species and they're way stronger than us. They're way faster than us. You know what I mean? And then we know this. But then they put us in our category. It's like, yo, what the hell just happened?
I would make the argument. I know what you mean. Like, we are stronger, like, physically.
Yeah.
But I would make the argument that behind all those strong men, there's a strong woman, and without her, that man is not who he is. So women technically are equally as strong. It's just a yin and a yang, like you
Yeah,
said.
yeah. I just meant physically.
Very
really.
necessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
Right? I'm looking at it, and this is, when I talk about competing, it's different.
Yeah.
When you're competing, just like if a guy was on steroids and he was running a race versus a guy that's unfair too.
And that's happened.
Right? That's happened. So I'm talking about fairness across the board.
How are they gonna take, who was it? Was it Livestrong? Blood doping. What was it?
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong, yeah. So Lance Armstrong, and they took all his, they took his medals because of the blood doping thing, right?
Right.
But yet they have males running in female races and they won't do nothing.
No, that's just
You can honestly just leave it at that. You don't even have to say anything. It's just wild.
the thing is, it's just all that's going to do is it's going to discourage a female who is a top athlete.
That's what it is.
Right? Trying to break us down, man.
Because now that they're going against a man, that's not just like if you look at boxing, right? If you look at boxing, it has weight classes for a reason.
Facts.
Right? You don't have a guy who's 140 going against 190. Right? Because it's not fair. We know that. So how does it make it fair if I'm going against a female, I expect to win on a physical thing. Like, now maybe if it's educational or whatever, they might beat me. But I'm like, okay, if I am a pretty good, I'm above average male competing in sports. I'm above average. When I drop down to a female, well, now I'm a superstar, right? Like that's not the way it should be.
I was hearing Jorge Masvidal talk about the same thing that the UFC fighter, well, the former UFC fighter now, but they were asking about Amanda Nunes. She's a champion. He said the woman's champion, still got to watch out for the lowest ranked UFC male fighter.
For sure.
The lowest ranked male fighter would give her a run for her money, like even bad. Like it actually would turn bad, maybe. You know what I mean? Because the strength, the speed, all that. But then I wondered to myself, because this is an unnecessary problem to really put on people. You know what I mean? You know what we're gonna do, guys? Whoever's the higher ups, we're gonna take males, dress them as females, throw them in the middle, and then see what happens, and pretend like it's not a problem. Yo, this is discouraging females. It's causing an uproar. We're having conversations about this. Meanwhile, we could all be working together and be solving climate change or some shit. You know what I mean? But meanwhile, we're arguing about there's a male in the female locker room. Yo, what's the world come to, man?
Oh, that's just Henry. He keeps to himself.
Like that shouldn't happen, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yo.
When I talk about certain things, it's just I can't go with the flow, right?
No.
Like it's just what it is, man. It's like that shouldn't happen. Everybody should have their own rights. They want to go into say changing room where it's kind of closed off or whatever. But it's just like a female coming to a male's locker room. It would be off. It still would be off.
Yeah.
Right? And we're a male.
Yeah.
So it's like a male going into females, that's off. That shouldn't happen, man. Like now if you have your own changing room or you know how they have their own change room, that's fine. We're not saying anything about anybody, but we're just saying certain things just can't occur. They can't. Because I'm thinking about, okay, if my daughter was in there or whatever. No, man, that's not gonna happen, bro.
Nope.
I can't have that because that's not right.
No.
And then if you want to have, and then the thing is, when we're talking about competing wise, now if you have, say, a male that identifies as a female, he must compete in the male division.
Yes.
Point blank.
Whether he likes it or not.
Whether he likes it or not, like that's what it is. There's only two divisions. There's only two.
Or you have a trans division.
Or you have a trans division. Then it's
that's cool. Whatever y'all want to
do. Then it's evening up. But I'm
Yeah.
like, you can't have somebody at a clear disadvantage going against a person like that. No. You know what I mean? Like it's like now you're going too far. You know what I mean? Like you're going way too far. Because you know a woman that identifies as a man is not going to go into the male division. You know that.
No, you wouldn't even try.
Because they're not going to be to compete. So why would they go in it? So why, on the other hand, because it's only males going into the female division. That's all it is.
Yeah, it should be both ways.
That's what I'm saying. There's never a female identified as a male going in to compete. Because they know they want to win.
I haven't even heard of one.
Right? You haven't heard of one. So it's always a male dropping down and going to the female division because it's easier. Like that's what it comes down to. It's easier. If I was somewhat decent, now I'm elite. That's not right. Now you're taking away the shine of a person who is a genuine female. You know what I mean? Now you take away her. Now you're winning the gold medal and she's winning the silver now. Because why? Because she's competing against a man? That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen.
You know, Jay, you told me a while ago, you said you got to know the rules. Play the game, you got to know the rules. But I feel like we don't know the rules. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the rules. I don't know the rules. You know, I can say that. I don't know.
But we know right from wrong.
That's what we do
So
know.
that's what we have to stick to.
Yes. And, you know, I like tying it back. That's a great point, Drew. Because beyond all this comes down to truth. You know, you don't have to take a male side or a female side.
No.
You can just take the side of truth. And that will help the female. That will help the male. That will help every party involved. And, you know, and everyone grows from it. You know, instead of, you know, teaming up and tag teaming and, you know, belittling another race or another generation or another.
See, some people, they're so bought into what they believe in that even when it's wrong, they still go with it. That's not right.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, you know what? Sometimes, whatever. I'm a feminist. Say, for example, I'm a feminist, or I'm just a male chauvinist. Right? It goes both ways. So now, say if I'm a male chauvinist, well, whatever the woman does, they're wrong. No matter what. It's not wrong, but just because I'm a male and they're a female, they're wrong every time. Same thing, a female as a feminist. You know what? No matter what a male does, he's always wrong. He's always wrong. We're looking to jump on him. That's where the division is starting to come in. We're starting to actually divide between each other, just like how COVID had a separation of individuals as well. I can care less, man. If someone wanted to take the vaccine, they want to. If they don't, then they don't either. It doesn't matter because it's really their personal choice, right? I can't dictate how you run and live your life, but you can't dictate how I live and run my life.
Facts.
You can't dictate what I believe in. You can't.
And that statement right there, you shouldn't be heckled for it either.
No.
You know.
So all it is just being respectful of each individual's opinion, right? When a person has an opinion, you respect it. You may not agree, but you still respect it.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's a male or female. I'm gonna listen to their opinion, and I'm gonna respect their opinion. And I may not agree, and I will say, you know what, I don't agree with your opinion, but that's your opinion, and we can agree to disagree. That's fine. But when we're starting to have that, where it's like people are not even looking about what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
Their heels are so.
They're not even asking questions.
No.
Cultish.
Yeah, their heels are so digged in whatever they're doing that they can't see anything else. It's like, well, they're wrong. Why? Because they're a male.
Because someone told them too. Like even the vaccine's so funny to me. Because how many of us really know what goes on when the vaccine hits our bloodstream? Yo, y'all don't know jack. Neither do I. You know what I mean? But you'll fight for it to the death of you because, you know what I mean? Because Channel 7, CBC said so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want the truth. Like in
Amen.
anything. That's all.
Amen.
That's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for the truth. If there's two individuals arguing, I want the truth.
I love
and
that.
I want both sides.
For me, if I feel like something's wrong, that's my instincts, and I choose to trust my instincts, and that's where I'll come up with some questions. I'll ask my questions. If I don't gather enough answers to adequately explain those questions, then I'm not going to go forward with anything, and that's just how my thinking is, which is literally the definition of critical thinking.
Yes.
Right. So everyone's critical thinking or level of critical thinking is going to be different, whether it's male, whether it's female. And I don't care what you choose to do. I still love you, still be cool with you as long as you respect me.
Yeah, that's
you know?
all it is. It's respecting everybody's differences and opinions. And then, you may not agree, but you're willing to listen to them. A lot of times you got to be willing to listen to people, and listen to a different nationality, listen to a different opinion. And I know it may be it might be really different than the opinions that you've been gathering, right? But a lot of times when someone has an outrageous opinion, there is something with that could be correct. But a lot of times people don't want to listen to them because they say, you know what? I don't agree with you because everybody I've been around thinks like this. This person may be thinking differently, and you can gain from that difference. So it's like you gotta always respect everybody's opinion. You don't judge nobody, but guess what? You don't always gotta agree either. Just because I respect it doesn't mean I gotta agree. Because there's been times where I've even heard males complaining about their girlfriend, and I'm like, bro, you tripping. Right? And there's been times where a female, oh, but this guy's doing this, and I'm like, yo, you tripping. And then sometimes, oh man, why you saying that? You're supposed to support me. No, I ain't supposed to support you. Because you tripping. That's why why I gotta support you? You don't like the truth?
It's the same thing as rewarding a kid for bad behavior. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do love what you guys mentioned about the united front. Say if we do have an issue, then, let's say all three of us go out to a function and we have an issue between us. Yeah, we're going to keep it in-house. You're not going to see a problem, but when we get back to this desk, we can all say, yo, this was the truth. Yo, Bick, you were slipping here, or Drew, this, or, Jay. But we side on the side of truth. We go there because that way everyone improves.
Yeah, that's it. When you're talking about anything, when a friend is coming up to you and he's speaking truth, how you gonna be offended? He's helping you, right? And maybe you don't see it that way, and maybe you might not like it because there's sometimes maybe a friend that said something to me, I probably maybe don't like it what he said.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, then it makes me reflect later on and say maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe there was some type of truth within that. So you got to be willing to deal with different opinions, different sexes, different people that come from different neighborhoods. The more you're adaptable and you can get along or learn from everybody, the more dangerous you are, because you can go to people that been living maybe really wealthy and you can deal with them, and then you can deal with somebody else that's been not doing as well and you can deal with them. You're able to adapt, but it's not because you experience everything that they experience, but you're willing to listen about their experience. That's the whole key. You got to listen to somebody and say, how does my life relate to theirs, even though that we grew up differently, but we still have commonalities. So even all these females and males fight and arguing, you still got a commonality, man.
I love that.
Right? The commonality's still there. You know, even though that he's a male and and she's whatever, it's female. We all got our challenges.
We're in it together.
We're in it together, and when we start to realize that, then you're gonna start having those families together. There's a reason why there is a rise of divorces and all these things. Why? Because they're almost pitting the sexes against
They are.
each other.
Division is where it's at.
That's it.
100%.
That's how you win.
Yeah, you divide the people
You
from the
divide
inside out.
You divide the people. You say, "Oh, this
And
person
that's a
going
long
against
game.
This person."
Oh,
Yeah,
easy, yo. Like if you want to get a country to, like you're fighting a country hypothetically, you put a virus in there. Now the people are fighting against the people. They don't even like themselves. How are they gonna fight you?
Well, even
They can't.
if you remove the virus period, like they've always made it so that we're the ones fighting with ourselves. We're going to do the war for them. We're going to do their
sure.
bidding for them. We're going to do things voluntarily. That's how they set it up.
I gotta read that book.
everything is division, and if you think about it, you had division back in the day. You had division between even the same nationalities. Oh, you're darker, I'm lighter. We're not the same. No, we are the same, right? You know what? You're not black enough, or you're too black, right? Or you know, maybe Indian, you got the lighter ones and the darker ones, and you got the Asians, you got the light ones and the dark ones. The dark ones are better, or the light ones are better. So it's like, what are you fighting against?
Yes.
Right? Because if I'm thinking like that, if I was thinking like this anyway, when you're talking about the skin color of someone who's better than who, then I have some of my siblings are darker than me. Some of them are lighter than me. So what? I don't like you. You're my sibling because you happen to be darker. You came from the same people. But sometimes it just happens like that.
Yeah, look at me, bro. They took all of it off me. Me and my sis, we used to talk shit to each other. Like, what? You didn't take all the black that out of the one. I got this little mark right here on my arm. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Oh man. But yeah, that was a great episode, man. That was a great episode. We touched on a lot, you know. I like how we ended it off with, you know, staying on the side of truth, helping each other out, being open-minded and not, being closed off. We'll be back next week with another episode of Thrive Talks.
Right before we go, I just want to say rest in peace to Adam and Carmen. Today's the day 3 years ago that they passed away. It's a very dark day for the whole family, so I just want to say rest up. I love y'all.
All right,
Peace.
peace.